Uh, Basically, food is food is the only common social habit that exists worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fundamental of culture and the building of society. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking about what he said, and I was thinking that's why restaurants exist. Restaurants don't exist to provide food for people. They don't exist to provide meals for people. Restaurants exists or restaurants exist to feed what is a social habit that exists. It's an inner human need to connect through the experience of food. And that's why we have restaurants, not for the purpose of providing, food to people as energy for their body, because it's always confused me. It's always never been logical to me why restaurants exist, and I always thought it was because people don't have time to cook for themselves. But the truth is, we know you don't need to cook, right? I mean, a lot of food is already, ready, natural, raw food, for example. Yeah, can give people a lot of what they need. And so the principle of why restaurants exist has got nothing to do with feeding people, but everything to do with providing the need for the social habit that humans have. So first of all, the matrix needs to understand what people's needs are, and then the matrix then feeds from what the human need is. Restaurants don't feed people, they feed the matrix.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Restaurants serve metrics to poison people.
Yeah, at a certain level, yes. At a certain level, yes. But you have to first if you want to poison people, you have to first understand how to give people the poison. And the way to give people the poison is to understand that people eat more when they are together. So you have to create a cultural construct where people are eating socially together, and then you form that as a normal habit, and then you have people trapped because they're lazy. Well, there's definitely something there. I mean, the word restaurant has rest in it. There might even be a connection with Taurus as well, the bull, in terms of symbology. Not exactly sure. And the origin of that, rest, the origin of rest is from restore, which should mean to return to an original or normal state, or to repair even. If you look at the word store, the real meaning of store, let's write this as T-O-R-E, the real meaning of store is sufficient supply, meaning to have enough of something, which to me is a definition of energy, basically. It's about controlling the energy that exists, and if we understand how human beings function, they need a certain amount of, or a certain level of energy, or a certain amount of control over their levels of energy, and this is basically done through food as a drug, right? If you want to drug people, the easiest and simplest way to drug people is through food, is to put drugs into the food and to have people consume the food and process the drugs through the food. So it's that's why we have the Food and Drug Administrations. Most government organizations that control food also control drugs, because they don't really see any difference between the two things. So yeah, also food and store goes back to military language, where store meant food for the army. That's from French. The Old French estor. Let me put this in the chat. The Old French estor meant provisions meant food for a fleet or navy or army. So the food is the way to control the army, basically, and in this case it would be the army of workers.